dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I say to you today, my friends, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal.
I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves
and the sons of former slave owners
will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
I have a dream. I have a dream.
I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into oasis of freedom and justice.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation
Where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with Governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, that one day right down in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers.
I have a dream today.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream.
Hello, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us for the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. We're coming to you a little bit differently this year. We're obviously together here in a virtual format, but nonetheless, we're here to celebrate an iconic and great man. It's no doubt been a challenging year for everyone, and we wanted to make this event very special for you this year. My name is Chad Jackson, and I'm the Manager of Corporate Partnership Sales for the Minnesota Twins, and this is my 8th year celebrating this event with you all. And I do hope that in this virtual format, you'll come back and join us again next year when we're all able to gather together. So with all that said, we have a great program lined up for you this year. As I mentioned, it has been tough. It's been tough for everyone. But this event is actually the perfect time and place for us to come together as a community, even if it is virtually, to pay tribute and honor the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Al Bangoura, Superintendent of the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board.
Greetings. I'm Al Bangoura, Superintendent of the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. It is my honor to welcome you to the MPRB's annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King celebration. Welcome. I'd like to thank the Martin Luther King Celebration Committee and other MPRB staff for producing this event, especially this year's online version. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Legacy Council for their partnership with the Park Board, their vision and work on this annual celebration. And we are incredibly grateful for the chance to reflect on Dr. King and his legacy and what it means to us in this moment. I'd like to share a few of my own remarks based on the past year and its unique challenges, in particular around the COVID-19 pandemic, George Floyd killing, and the peaceful protests and civil unrest that followed. Also around the economic recession, and stemming from all of these crises, the unprecedented number of people experiencing homelessness. Many sought temporary refuge on our parkland. These crises also led to profound changes for our organization. They have tested how staff react and respond. We witnessed hardship, violence, and trauma. We listened and we learned. We responded and we adjusted our responses sometimes by the month, sometimes by the day, and even sometimes by the minute. One thing that was clear, the essential need of our parks. You can't turn your eye away from that. Parks were a place to recreate and to gather and protest, or to simply get fresh air during a pandemic that upended our lives. Parks were a place for youth to play and to explore, learn and find support and mentorship from park staff who cared deeply for the youth in our community. People needed parks more than ever, and our staff rose to those challenges. That's what we do and who we are as public servants. We closed 22 miles of parkways to vehicles to create more spaces for more people, going to parks more often. We had ambassadors across our parks and our cities to help and to just see a smiling face and to ask questions and to be present with our community. We issued permits to those who organized encampments for hundreds of unsheltered people. Our community outreach staff worked and visited those camps daily, encampments daily, to connect with people at the encampments and to help locate and offer available shelter to people. Recreation and youth development staff worked through the pandemic restrictions to provide a host of activities and to connect with youth and act as a sounding board. Maintenance and environmental management staff continued their essential work with dignity and professionalism during an unpredictable year with new demands, new restrictions, and constant change. So this response led to profound changes in our organization. I'm proud to say that we have a new department called the Community Connections and Violence Prevention Department. It unites staff across the organization with relevant skills and talents. It addresses the challenging situations and complex problems in the parks. It supports community, staff, and park visitors. A humane, collaborative, community-based approach focused on safety, support, intervention, and de-escalation. We're also talking about a stronger focus on youth programming and recreation. Also, new approaches based on data and research from our communities across our city and the nation. Kids still play basketball in the gym and still run the fields and they do the activities that they always do, but we're going to look beyond that and connect them to broader opportunities. As an organization, we are pressed to think differently, how we work together and how we work together in our parks and in our communities. No longer can we think about these things in a bubble. We need to move forward with a newly broadened perspective. Our park system, one of the country's largest, is full of essential community places. What do these places mean to us, all of us? So many voices told us in the past year, they have not grown quiet and we have not stopped listening. We must continue to offer both recreation and job opportunities for young people. How do we as a community continue to take care of each other amid these crises while creating a better future for us all? One thing is for certain, we can't do it alone. The past year has reminded us how profoundly we are connected, despite the many forces that seek to divide us. We can't divide parks from the city that surrounds them. We can't separate the needs of the city's most vulnerable from the desires of the most fortunate. Looking at Dr. King's legacy, I'm reminded of the direct connection between nonviolent social change and its outcome, the beloved community, where all people have value, respect, and dignity. I'm grateful for the countless connections between our organization and others, park visitors and park volunteers, community members, young and old, governments and policymakers, advocates and activists, nonprofits, and philanthropies. Connections are essential to our survival and progress, even amid disagreement, frustration, and anger. The only way we move forward is together. These crises continue. So does our resolve. As a leader, I am focused on working with everyone that I can to do the most for our park system in the best way possible. Thank you.
Each January, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is nationally celebrated to remember the work of a great man, a man who spent his life peacefully demonstrating to bring light to racial inequalities in the South. Born as Michael King Jr. on January 15, 1925, Martin Luther King Jr. was the middle child of Michael King Sr. and Alberta Williams King. Born to a prominent Baptist minister in Atlanta, Dr. King went on to lead a social reform movement throughout the South, starting with his involvement in the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955. Through the bus boycott, he established a nonviolent approach to his work, and Dr. King began what is still known today as the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement. He played a key role in the American Civil Rights Movement from the mid-1950s until his untimely assassination in 1968. Inspired by advocates of nonviolence, such as Mahatma Gandhi, King sought equality for African Americans, economically disadvantaged, and victims of injustice through peaceful protests. As mentioned, Dr. King was a driving force behind such watershed events as the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington, D.C., which helped bring about such landmark legislation as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. At the age of 34, he galvanized the nation with his I Have a Dream speech. At 35, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. And at the young age of 39, he would be assassinated. Dr. King left a legacy of hope and inspiration that spreads across the country and remains with us today. Today, Dr. King is still considered to be one of the most important figures of the 20th century. His unique approach to the philosophy of nonviolent action stands as one of the most successful alternatives to the world's ongoing struggle against structural injustice. We are proud to live by one of Dr. King's most famous sayings as a key theme for this evening's event. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Not only was he an activist for civil rights, but he also preached the necessity to give back to others and to give back to your community in any way you can. Later in tonight's program, we will also recognize two individuals in our community whose work embodies Dr. King's message of justice for all and commitment to community. Stephen Slater and Jamal Guy have lived up to Dr. King's message, what are you doing for others? We are pleased tonight to honor both of them with the 2021 Living the Dream Award. Okay, I'm thinking everyone might be ready for the entertainment portion of the program. To get us started, we're very excited to have a performance from Desdamona. Desdamona is an international award-winning artist who has received 5 Minnesota Music Awards for her music and poetry. In addition to being a writer, she's an engaging performer who works in the realm of spoken word and hip hop. Performing What Do You Owe the Day? Give it up for Desdamona.
Hi, this is Desdamona. I am going to be reading a poem called What Do You Owe the Day? And it was inspired by a David Byrne song called Every Day is a Miracle. What do you owe the day? Have you hidden yourself from the light or failed to be the light? Have you slept in pretending it is night, claiming you're a vampire, squinting and crying once the sun takes its fingers to your eyes? What do you owe the day? Each one that has been given to you on loan, this gift you have, the one that you have kept secret from others, you can use it to pay your fare, sharing a small piece of yourself to pay the rent. What do you owe yesterday? Some kindness you could have given to yourself, some assistance you could have given another, Have you let your dues piled up like unpaid parking tickets stuffed into the glove compartment? Numbers tapping on the door, trying to get out and be counted. What do you owe the day? The tears you have hidden inside, thinking swallowing them down is strength. That salt in those tears can disinfect wounds. It balances fluids in the blood and is essential for nerve and muscle function. Those tears become rivers of escape, release. What do you owe the day? Have you held your breath among the trees, depriving them of our natural exchange? Have you pretended you don't belong next to them, forsaking them for the love of mirrored windows and concrete? What do you owe the day? Your presence, your song, your untold story, your forgiveness, your strength, your undivided attention, your hand to lift someone out of the darkness, your empathy to listen with ears and heart, a promise to make tomorrow better than today.
Thank you, Desdamona, for that great performance. We're going to keep the music portion of the program going here. We're very lucky to have with us another outstanding artist with us for this year's event. Lawrence Miles is an up-and-coming vocalist based right here in Minnesota. An intoxicating mixture of gospel, rock, soul, and R&B, and his new album reveals a singer, songwriter, producer who has an unshakable sense of self and his place in this world. He was born into a family full of musical talent. His grandfather, Abram Miles, was a composer and band director for over 37 years. His father, Lawrence Miles, was a celebrated trumpet player with a love for diverse music. His mother, Melanie Miles, was a singer known for her soul-stirring, melodic, powerful voice. Well, I think we're all ready to hear him. Ladies and gentlemen, performing I Smile, please welcome Lawrence Miles.
Right where you are today, I invite you to smile. Check out the lyrics to the song. Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine, no. Nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night. Oh, today's a new day, but tell me where are my blue skies? There is a love and a joy that you promised, and tell me it's alright. I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now. So I choose to smile, even though it hurts. See, I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile. It's so hard to look up and you look down. Show the hate you see and give up now. Don't give up, no. You look so much better when you smile. Smile, smile for me. Can you just smile? Can you just smile for me? Right where you are, come on, smile with me. Smile, smile for me. Can you just smile for me? Oh, guess what? Whoa, you look so much better when you. Hey, you look so much better when you. You look so much better when you smile. Yeah. You look so much better when you. You look so much better. You look so much better. You look so much better when you. You look so much better when you smile. I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain said it fell from heaven like a shower. Right now I choose to smile. Even though it hurts, see, I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile. It's so hard to look up and you look down. Show the hate you see, you give it now. You look so much better when you smile. So smile. You look so much better when you smile. so much better when you you look so much better when you look so much better when you smile. Go ahead and smile right where you are.
At this time, I'd like to introduce this year's keynote speaker, and we're very fortunate to have him as part of this year's event. Devean George was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and attended high school at Benilde St. Margaret's, and went on to become a standout basketball player at Augsburg College. In 1999, he made history when he became the first ever NCAA Division III basketball player selected in the first round of the NBA draft. Now, throughout his 11-year career in the NBA, Devean played for the Los Angeles Lakers, where he basically carried them to 3 NBA titles. Kidding, of course. He played with two players I think we all know, and the late, great Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. But he did win those 3 championships. That's not a joke. And he also played with the Dallas Mavericks and Golden State Warriors. Devean's contributions off the court are even more amazing. For 6 years, he was a sponsor of the Minnesota-based program, Why Can't I Go? This program provided underprivileged youth with travel-based educational opportunities. Now, twice each season, he would fly 10 kids and their chaperones to Los Angeles and provide them with hotel accommodations, tickets to a Lakers game, and a visit to Disneyland. I'm thinking, why can't I go? Now, while playing in Dallas, he gave his time and funds to Buckner International, an organization which provides material and personal support to children who find themselves in harmful settings such as orphanages, impoverished households, and violent or abusive environments. In 2009, he enjoyed his most gratifying experience in his entire life by becoming a father for the first time with the birth of his son, Logan. Devean remains committed to positively impacting the North Minneapolis community that shaped who he is today. His desire to give back was the driving force behind the formation of George Group North, his real estate company specializing in multifamily residential development, mixed-use projects, and property redevelopment and management, and his charitable subsidiary, Building Blocks, which is focused on mentorship programming. Devean serves as president and CEO of George Group North and executive director of Building Blocks. Please join me in welcoming Devean George to this year's event.
Chad, thanks for the introduction. Just want to thank you for, considering me for this, speaking today. I also want to thank the park board as well. Tim and Tom, thank you guys for having me and for wanting me. I enjoy doing things like this. It goes both ways, and you said there was some excitement from the Minneapolis Park Board of me speaking, and I'm excited to give back and work with the park board and do whatever I can for the park board itself. So the admiration, it goes both ways, from me to you guys and from you guys to myself. So I appreciate it. But what we're here to do today is talk about Dr. King. And, obviously I was too young to be around when he was doing his work in the community and for our people. But his legacy carries on. And, they want to know, what are you doing to help your community? What are you doing to help others? And, how are you giving back and those type of things? And he's an example as a young Black man, as a developer, as someone that's from a underserved community. He's an example of what I want to be when I'm not here. We all have a date where we're going to be, not on earth anymore, but will our legacy live on? The things that I'm doing right now in our community, hopefully these buildings, these projects, the people I'm helping, the businesses I'm starting, the people, the kids that I'm touching and helping them move on and get through life, hopefully that will continue to linger on when I'm not here as well. And that's kind of one of my goals to do in my community, as far as, the development of work I do. But first, we want to talk on the giving back and what it is I do. I'm from North Minneapolis, born and raised, and my father still lives there, and he's a community guy. He just loves North Minneapolis. I love North Minneapolis. It's what raised me. It's why I am where I'm at today. And the love I have for my community, and it's similar to a lot of us that have had some success, whether that be in business or professional athlete or whatever the case may be. A lot of us, the reality of it, a lot of us come from areas all over the country, like a North Minneapolis. That's just the reality of it from us in professional sports. But with that being said, we all have people that grew up, that nurtured us, that gave us opportunities, that protected us, that schooled us, that made us stay on the right path and kept us out of trouble, that made us be disciplined, made us go to school, kicked us off the corners, let us know when danger was coming, all those type of things. Those shape you as a young man and woman coming up in these communities. And once you have some success, once you have some things happen for you in a positive way, it's only right for you to go back and work with the community and work with the people that helped shape you and that pushed you and that wanted you to succeed, so that maybe you come back and help them out, or maybe you come back out and help their kids or their grandchildren or whatnot. So that's one of the things that that really resonate with me. I do community work and development, and one of the things that I really hold my hat on is bringing resources, jobs, and living housing to our communities. And so with that being said, it's more than just the development, the bricks and mortar. It's the system, it's the planning that I have behind it. It's how do I get as many dollars as I can into our community? And how can I use that velocity of money of making sure those dollars touch as many people as I can, and those amenities touch as many people as I can in our communities? You know, for example, it starts with me, but it also starts with me showing the community how supporting each other will help our community. Well, it starts with me, one, getting the dollars into the millions of dollars into the community. And then I start the process of making sure that touches contractors, Northside businesses, which that goes into our community, and then which goes into them. And then I start with the apartments. When people have jobs and pay me money for the apartments, that money goes back into minority businesses or minorities that work for me, which then again, that same dollar touches those people from their employment. And then the people that work for me, I encourage them and the people that live in the buildings to spend those dollars in our community with local businesses like a Sammy's Avenue Eatery, where Sammy then will touch that same dollar. And then Sammy has that same dollar. And then I encourage Sammy to hire some kids to wash dishes. And that same dollar touches their hands to wash dishes or work for Sammy. And then maybe someone works as a waitress for Sammy and he pays them that same dollar. Well, that waitress lives in my building and that dollar comes back to me. So those are the type of things that I work on. And those are the type of things that I'm educating our community on how we need to work, circulate our dollars and do things. So that's a real passion of mine. And that's what I've had some success at doing. And that's the main mission. Also is the services that I'm able to provide. I don't do any of the social services. I have the space and the housing, and I work with the kids, but all of the other social service housing pieces are partnerships, and people are excited to partner with me. So those are some of the things that I do really for our community and try to bridge the gap between things that people need and services that they need. And I'm the person that goes out and gets those things for our community. Excuse me. I want to end with talking about one of Dr. King's speeches. And the most famous one is the I Have a Dream speech that we all heard year after year in school. And we still have it. That's the most famous speech that we had. I don't know the name of my favorite Dr. King speech, but it really comes to the business aspect and how how the states were formed and what has been going on since the beginning of time and how that is still going on today. I wish I knew when, the date, or where he was speaking at, but it basically he broke it down to explaining how immigrant Europeans came over and was given all these amenities, and they were given land, they were given, and not only were they given land, they were given agents to help them with the land and help them farm. They were using government dollars to build schools for resources to help them. And he went through and he talked about how all the other races have had reparations and things done for them. And he ended it in a very, very powerful way, which I really love. And I chuckled a little bit, but it's the similar thing that I work with in our community. As he said, you know, people think we're coming to Washington for some political views. We're not coming for any political views. We're coming to get our check. And that really resonated with me because that's what I do on a daily basis. When people see me downtown at City Hall, when people see me downtown or in St. Paul at Minnesota Housing, or people see me around, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get our check for North Minneapolis, because those checks are there, but they just been going to other areas. They haven't been going to our areas. And so that's what I've been fighting for in our community. And that's what I'm gonna continue to fight for in our community, is build our community up. Those resources that have been going to other places for so many years. Now I have a platform, I have a voice through the media, and I wanna know why, when I don't get awarded funds or when I don't get grant dollars that aren't going into my community, I want to know why. And I want everyone to know I didn't get those funds for our community, but that's what I do on a daily basis, is that. And that's really what resonated with me with his speech. And I'll get that, and I wish I could find it, but I've seen it over and over again, as he said, and I always remember that. And I want people to remember, not me trying to be Dr. King, but having those same principles. When he said he's going to Washington to get his check for his people, that's what I do. When I'm downtown, when I'm in City Hall, I'm going to get our check for North Minneapolis, because we've been missing out on them payments for so long. And so that's my contribution to my community. That's what I'll be doing. And I've been doing it in other communities as well, with other athletes and other people. But first and foremost, I want to make sure mine is taken care of first. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I'll continue to do. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate you guys for having me. Anything you need from me in the future, not just this isn't a one-off. You guys have my information. Chad knows how to get in contact with me. I'm busy at times, but anytime you guys need me to come through for our community or something to benefit for our community, I'm there. Thank you guys.
I'd like to personally thank Devin for being a part of this year's event. It goes without saying that there is a bit of a personal connection here. Devin and I actually went to college at Augsburg together, and I personally got to witness his development, not only as a student athlete, but his care for community, his ascension throughout the professional ranks in the NBA, but most importantly, his commitment to his family and his community. So it goes without saying, Dev, thank you very much for participating this year, and we're glad to have you a part of the Minneapolis community and doing the fine work that you're doing. Keep it up, my man. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park Legacy Council, comprised of interested community members, was established to revitalize the memorial aspect of the park, developing ideas to honor Dr. King and ensure the values and principles of civil rights and social justice are put into practice in the life of this park today. Please welcome Mary Merrill, Superintendent Emeritus, to say a few words from the council.
Thank you, Chad, for that warm introduction. I welcome you tonight on behalf of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park Legacy Council and our chair, Sandra Richardson. The Legacy Council was created in 2011 in the midst of controversy about whether to have a dog park at Martin Luther King Park, which ultimately led to several community meetings and exposed a major rift in the communities east and west of 35W. And then finally, to the establishment of the Legacy Council to preserve and advise the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board on honoring the legacy of the Reverend Martin Luther King at the park, and to help raise the necessary funds to transform the park into a place that teaches, informs, preserves, and prepares our children for lives that reflect Dr. King's vision and legacy. We have a very diverse group of people who have worked very hard over the years with the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board, Kingfield Neighborhood Organization, People for Parks, Larry Fitzgerald Foundation, Bobby and Steve's Foundation, AARP, Sabathani Chapter, to name a few of the groups we have worked with on various projects over the years, such as refurbishing and moving of the Freedom Forum sculpture, which had been badly neglected for years, to a place of prominence in the park, the only civil rights playground in the country, the annual Beloved Community Celebration and March, and various programs and projects about our community and the people who made it happen. If you would like to get involved with the Legacy Council, call the park. We want to welcome you to the work and play of recreating the park so it reflects the vision of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And if there ever was a time to reflect and recreate that vision, it is now. With what is happening in our community and country, from the coronavirus, COVID-19, to the cold-blooded murder of George Floyd, to the presidential election and President Trump's betrayal of the office of the president and our country. If there ever was a time to get involved, it is now, because it is only what you do for others that matters and builds positive places for us all to live. Join us. We look forward to our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Emeritus Mary. Say that real fast 5 times. All right, and now back to give us one more performance. Please welcome Mr. Lawrence Miles performing A Change Is Gonna Come.
Thank you, Chad, for that introduction. And I'd also like to thank the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board for this special opportunity to share my gift with you all. I'm gonna sing a song famously known by Sam Cooke, A Change Is Gonna Come. And I believe not only is change gonna come, but change is right here, right now. I was born by a river in a little tent. Oh, and just like that river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Said I go to the movies and I go downtown, but somebody keeps on telling me, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change got to come. Oh, yes it will. Then I go to my brother, and I say, brother, would you help me, please? I keep on begging him, brother, help me, please. But he winds up knocking me a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will.
Thank you, Lawrence, for those outstanding performances. Well, it's that time in the program to honor an individual who we are so thankful and fortunate to have in our community. Actually, this year, we're very lucky to have two individuals that we will be honoring for their work in the Minneapolis community. Now, to present the 2021 Living the Dream Awards, that is plural, once again, please welcome back Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board Superintendent Al Bangoura.
It is my honor this evening to introduce the two winners of this year's award. The first award recipient that I would like to tell you a little about is Stephen Slater. Stephen Slater is an active community member, graphic designer, business owner, creative director, musician, and volunteer. Stephen founded the JLR Foundation in 2009 to serve the youth of Minneapolis and to help them learn music and video technology. Through the IdeaWorks free project-based music technology program run by the JLR Foundation, Stephen has helped more than 1,500 youth at Powderhorn Park and East Phillips. Some of his many responsibilities include overall program direction, management of instruction and student interns, as well as the development of partnerships with schools and community organizations. As a musician himself, he also works directly with kids on music and video production. He believes that technology is the great equalizer and has made it his goal to inspire, educate, and mentor the next generation of creative and informed citizens through after-school programs with schools and community organizations, including the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. Stephen also takes great pride in helping kids prepare for performances at special events at Powderhorn Park and other areas of the city. It is with great pleasure to announce Stephen Slater as the recipient of this year's Living the Dream Award. At this time, I'd like to introduce Stephen, who has a few words for us.
I want to thank the Minneapolis Park Board for awarding me the MLK Living the Dream Award. This award means so much for our foundation and our students. For the past 12 years, the JLR Foundation has helped over 1,500 kids through our IdeaWorks project-based music technology programs. I want to thank Liz Krause, Powderhorn Park Recreation Supervisor, and her staff for her commitment and support. I also want to thank the previous recreation supervisors, Peter Yeager, Adam Lores, for their support over the years, and Al Bangoura for his support for our programs for the past 12 years. Thank you to our instructors and past contributors, including Stephen Schultz, Drew Koski, Stan O'Daffer, and Morris Hayes. I want to acknowledge our college partner, the Institute of Production and Recording. Our foundation was named after one of its founders, Jackie Lee Robinson. Jack believed in helping young people grow in creativity. I also have two former students here with me today, Sean Powell Burns and Noah Slater. They worked on writing and recording music at our IdeaWorks studio. It's all about giving young artists a chance to grow. And last, the JLR Foundation, we believe that technology is the great equalizer. Our goal every day is to inspire, educate, and mentor the next generation of creative and informed citizens through our work with schools and community organizations. Thank you again for this award. We're looking forward to great things in the future. Thank you.
Thanks again, Stephen, for all you do. Our next Living the Dream Award recipient is Jamal Guy. Jamal grew up in North Minneapolis. After high school, he earned a college degree and went on to work for the public school system. However, he never left his community. Instead, he chooses to give back. And for the past 20 years, he has graced Farvey Park with his presence. Jamal has been a coach, a mentor, a positive role model, a friend, a teacher, a mediator, and so much more from the youth who frequent Farview Recreation Center. For 5 years in the summer and during basketball season, Jamal has hosted the Breakfast Club 3 days per week from 6:30 to 8 o'clock a.m. before work. Any youth who are interested in basketball are invited to come before they go to school in the morning or during the summer to practice and train for free personally with Jamal. Jamal has a special gift that also reaches across all demographics. He can connect with many kids. All they have to have is a dream and be willing to work towards it. He will do whatever he can to see them and help them achieve it. If you ask anyone in the community about Jamal Guy, chances are they not only know him, but respect him as well. He goes above and beyond to take care of his community, and it starts with the kids. It is a regular thing for him to bring basketball shoes and to give them away to kids who need them. Mediate conflicts as they arise in the gym, spread positive messages and encouraging words, smile at a stranger, and sets an example always, and eating healthy. Jamal collaborates with and enhances team programs, DJs events, and also teaches kids the process of being a DJ and how to use the equipment. Jamal has contributed so much to Farview Park and this community. We would like to thank Jamal for all of his hard work and dedication to the community. And what better time than at this event to honor him for his work and dedication to the community. Congratulations to this year's recipient of the Living the Dream Award, Jamal Guy. Jamal has a few words for us at this time.
Hello, my name is Jamal Guy, and I'd like to start by thanking the Superintendent Al Bangoura and the Minneapolis Park and Rec for this prestigious award, the Living the Dream Award. It's a well-worded award, especially for me, because I really do feel like I'm living the dream. I'm around people daily and working around people that I want to be around. I'm in spaces that I want to be in, and it really feels good. And if that's work, then that's not work. So I do feel like I'm living the dream. I'd like to start by saying first, I'm a Northside resident, lifetime. I'm a resident, I'm a parent, I'm a coach, I'm a property owner, I'm a business owner, I'm a gopher, I'm a polar, I'm everything Northside. I'm NFL for life. And for those that don't know, NFL for life means Northsider for life. You wear that badge with honor. There's a lot of great people that come from the North Side, and I'm proud to be one of them. I'd like to just start with a story on how I got started in service with the park board, and it came first out of necessity. I was looking for a place for my child to play basketball, and I had a friend, and his name was Steve Jackson, and he told me to bring over to Farview that he had a girls team, and that he welcomed her in. And it was funny because she was a couple years younger, maybe a couple grades below the other kids, and he still took her in. We still worked out, and then I started helping out with that team. And he had at least 12 or 13 girls at that time that he would pick them up for practice. He'd do anything they needed, feed them, help with schoolwork, anything that the girls needed. So I got a good example and a great start in the park board with Steve Jackson. And so that's where my start came. Steve's program that I got a chance to be in was piloted by Gary Wilson. And Mr. Wilson was supporting the program and, just making sure that Steve had all the resources through the park that he needed. The gym was incredible, that we all know that Gary's responsible for getting built. And that's a great place for me to work out of. And it's just knowing the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. It keeps me motivated to want to be there and help as much as I can. And it's taking care of it and keeping it together. Gary Wilson was responsible in giving me a lot of the resources that I needed to continue to run the programs that I was running. And what we were doing and what I started it's been 20 plus years, close to 22, 23 years, is a youth advocate program where we're running a program to defeat the achievement gap. Our program, we trick kids in with sports and the fun stuff, but we're getting grades. We're doing a lot of life skills. And what we're doing also is making sure that we're monitoring their grades on a weekly basis, making sure that they're student athletes first. The park board's been very supportive in that, and partnering along with the school systems with Minneapolis Public Schools. It's been great working with Nellie Stone Elementary, working with Lucy Laney. The park board works with them, and through them, I've been able to continue to run the program. I like to say these years have gone fast because we take a ride with the kids, and that ride usually starts about 3rd or 4th grade, and we trail them, getting them ready for high school. And when I say we, that's W.H. Nelson and myself, and then the Farview Park staff. And they're very instrumental in helping us, making sure that when the kids come in from school, they have a snack, that we do homework afterwards, and then we go to practice, and then we do what we need to do. But it takes a village to raise the children, and that's what we have at Farview. So I'm proud to be a part of that. But I was telling you about the ride that we take. The ride that we take, yes, we monitor the grades, but it's more than that. We develop relationships with the families, and just anything that we can help along that path to get them ready for high school. Once we've gotten them ready for high school, the program changes into a college preparatory program, to where we're, now understanding what it's going to be to go to college. What do we need to do? How do we prepare? SATs, all of it. And Farview's piloted that program for years, and I'm really thankful and grateful to all the people at Farview. Who's the new director there? There's other ones too that have helped. Adam Lars, Reggie Jared, really important. Armando Santiago, that's our maintenance. Our maintenance guys have been instrumental in really helping us, because there's times when they have to, stay, to supervise us, or to let us in different things where they may not be on their shift, but they've never had a problem with helping us out. It's Miss Becky over there at Farview. It's Shannon, Sarah J. Williams. Before that, it was Paul Yeager. It was Steve Zimmer, Larry Humphreys, Jamil Jackson, still there. He's 20 plus years himself, running great programs. So it really takes a village, to get this thing done. And other people that are my support team, Betty Clark. I said it before, W.H. Nelson. I can't say that name enough. He's right next to me, doing a lot of paperwork, working the phones to help these programs fly. I'd also like to thank my parents. My parents have supported everything that I've done, no matter how big or how small. If it's a tournament, if it's a banquet, if it's anything that I'm doing, my parents have been there to support me. My parents brought me to the park system when I was little, whether it be Harrison or whether it was North Commons. I was always a part of the park system. I'd also like to thank my wife, Brooke. She's given me a lot of space to do what I do, and she's always supported me. Never once have I said, hey, I gotta go here, we got a meeting there, I got a kid I gotta pick up here, I'm giving a bunch of kids a ride home. Never once has she said, she just been there to support me. So I'd like to thank her. I'd also like to thank my kids. Without my kids, I never would have ended up back at the parks, which, where I started from, but my kids brought me back there. My kids, the park became their home after, I brought them there. We started playing sports there, they made friends there, and the next thing you know, they live at the park. They're there every day. So the big special thank you to my family, and to my friends, and to Farview Park and staff.
Congratulations again to both Stephen Slater and Jamal Guy.
All right, we have officially come to the conclusion of tonight's program, and we hope everyone enjoyed themselves. And normally, at this time, I'd be sending everybody over to the far right of the community center to enjoy some very nice cake and other desserts and refreshments. But unfortunately, you're gonna have to do that in your own household or wherever you're enjoying the event from tonight. But I do promise you, this time next year, we do hope to be enjoying it together as we have normally done for the past few years. We do have some special thank yous before we do let you go, starting with, and most importantly, we'd like to thank the Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board. We'd also like to thank the MLK Event Committee, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Legacy Council. But last and certainly not least, we want to thank all of you for joining us. Stay safe, stay positive, and we look forward to seeing you next year.